Oh, cool. My neighbor's smoke alarm is doing that every 30-second beep thing again, and he appears to be out of town.
Who authorizes turning on the AC in the movie theater when it's clearly winter outside?
I don't know, man. Unscented cat litter. Scented dog poop bags. I mean, I chose this life.
Very sexy. Don't you just love it when you buy something from Amazon and it shows up 8 times smaller than expected?
In a very large box, I really do. Have such a good day. Oh, hello, everyone, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
Hey, guys. Welcome.
Hey, guys.
Hey, man. We're on the patio. We're the sun's going down, so we're racing to get the show done before we become skeletons.
It's a race against time, featuring Heather and Sarah. Speaking of, I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Heather Frank.
And we are your cruise directors.
We are.
For the next hour.
Definitely.
Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, hard to say.
So a little shuffleboard, a little square dancing.
Are you a square dancer?
No. I remember it was do-si-do. Isn't that part of...
I don't know what square dancing is.
I remember square dancing in grammar school.
I do too.
We had to learn the moves and stuff.
I remember someone's, it was Micah McLaughlin, actually. I went to school with him. It was 3rd grade. This is really weird. Don't even know where this memory came from, but here we go. And his mom was like a square dancing teacher or something. You know, this is in Sebastopol, so that's what we did. And we did I don't know, we put on a show for all the parents.
Yeah.
And we all had these headdresses that we had made, and it was so weird. And I remember at the end of it, me and whoever my partner were some of the best square dancers.
Wow.
Because I think we just could do fancy footwork.
Did you guys win an
a little
award?
bit faster? Well, I don't know. We probably just got people saying you were really good, and we were like, we were really good.
Speaking of weird awards from back in our childhood, did I tell you that I used to win do you remember Eric's Deli Cafe?
No.
It was like a sandwich shop.
In
the
Los
Bay Area.
Gatos?
Yeah, in Los Gatos. And in the Bay Area, there's a bunch of them. They had a coloring contest where you draw, you color in, there's an image, but it's very complex, and you have to color it in. I won every year for 3 years straight. And I won, I remember I got little trophies. I'm not kidding. I'm how did my mom probably entered me or something, because I was a really good drawer.
Okay, so you know how first
I'm
of all,
accomplished woman, Sarah.
you're a good artist, so this does not surprise me. But you know how it's sort of you play the lottery and it's you're never gonna win.
Sure.
No one's ever gonna win.
Waste of money.
One person out of so many millions of people. I have actually won, not the lottery, or we wouldn't be here. But when I was a kid, there was a Hallmark store. I don't know if it was an actual Hallmark store, but it was a card store in my town. And for whatever reason, there was a huge bunny. It was a stuffed bunny, and it was probably Easter or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, way bigger than either of us, a 7-foot stuffed bunny.
Yeah.
And you had to enter a drawing to win the bunny, and I won him.
Oh man, I would have been stoked.
And I remember even at that age being I cannot believe of all the kids who wanted this bunny, I won.
Yeah, how it was. You felt really special.
I was just wow, probability.
Yeah, that's really when you finally realize
you can sometimes you actually will be that one person who wins.
What did you do with the bunny?
It's in my mom's attic.
You still have it?
I think so.
That is so funny.
I mean, Linnell, please let me know, but she hasn't really gotten rid of anything from my childhood. It's all in her attic. This is a huge bunny.
I'm impressed.
His name was Simon, by the way.
Of course, his name was Simon.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. But my mom sold a lot of my stuffed animals at a garage sale when I did not authorize it. And I had some cool stuffed animals. I mean, that was my thing. I wasn't a doll person so much. I was more of an animal, stuffed animal.
Yeah.
I had a whole farm of animals that I would set up on my bed every day and then pull down and then set it up again every day. Mom, I mean, my mom doesn't listen to the show, so it's okay.
Back in the day when I was young and naive, and I thought that by this time I would have my own little kids running around, I remember saying to my parents, do not throw away any of my stuffed animals. Like, keep them in garbage bags, whatever. Put them in the attic. I don't care. But don't throw them away because I don't want to have to buy all the stuff again. We'll just re-gift them to my kids. Well, they're still up there.
Well, it's nice though. I did the same thing with my children's books because there's something more sentimental about giving your your own to your own children. But I don't know. Those are up in some attic somewhere. I don't even know. I don't know. Anyway,
some attic somewhere. Well, speaking of attics, not really. This is Have Such a Good Day, where Heather and I we kind of unpack our
weeks,
our
lives,
the absurdity of our lives that I think we probably share with so many of you, in an effort for us all to get a little closer and feel a little bit less alone.
Absolutely. That's very well put, Sarah. And, you and I talk to each other and we entertain each other with all the bullshit we have to go through.
We laugh, we cry,
we
kick the cat.
We lay in the fetal position on the floor sometimes when it gets real bad. But I
eat a lot of chicken noodle soup lately.
From Vaughn's? Or
correct.
Ron's? Or which one? John's.
From Vaughn's. Heather.
There's a John's. It's I think a little worse than Vaughn's.
This one is Vaughn's, and I'm telling you, they make a real good soup, and I'm eating it all the time. I have some in my fridge right now.
I doubt the chicken is free range, but I gotta try it. Anywho, so the absurdity of everyday life. The thing is her and I get a lot of joy from it, so we are hoping that other people will too.
Yes, if you have stumbled upon our show for the first time, welcome. We love to have you. If you've been with us for a while, you already know the spiel. And part of that is the fact that we will talk about all sorts of fun stuff. And then later in the show, we have a bonus topic for our patrons.
We do. And this week, according to our poll, the winner is, a little drum roll, Sarah. When and where do you feel most like your real self?
Ooh, and this is
I know, that's kind of a tough one. I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ruminate on this while we do the show. It'll come to me, but I think that's.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
I think I wrote it. I can't remember, but I think I did.
It's a tough question. I think for a lot of us, where we're like, gosh, wow, because we all.
Who am I?
Well, we're all very used to being a certain person at a certain time. When I'm at the bank, for example, I'm not going to lose my shit. I need my money.
What, you don't feel like your real self when you go to the bank?
No.
Or the DMV?
No.
Okay.
Well, the DMV almost maybe a little bit more because you're with the great swath of humanity. I actually almost like the DMV for that reason, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get to that
at the end of the show. So you guys would have to be contributing at the $5 patron level.
Yes.
To hear this.
And if you say, what's that? Go to patreon.com/havesuchagoodday. Patreon is the way that we are funding the show. It's a community-based show.
No ads.
No ads. We're totally friend supported. And Patreon is the way that we are doing that. So for those of you who are contributing $5 a month or more, bonus topic coming up a little bit later.
You will understand and hear about who the real selves of Sarah and myself are.
Yeah.
We're going to reveal it.
When are we most ourselves? Not now.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Clearly not.
So as far as the show of cool and funny and disturbing things from the internet and real life and entertainment and all of that stuff, we thought we'd start off with, as we do, how the week has been going. Well, Heather, this was a weird week. And it was weird in, some funny ways, but some really not funny ways. The other day it rained really hard here.
Oh,
really hard. No,
really hard.
We live in Los Angeles. The weather's beautiful. It's been really warm today. In fact, I was gardening in my yard today and I was hot and I was
you were?
Oh. Well,
did you have gardening shears and gloves and stuff?
No, I don't do anything like that. I just sort of was cleaning up leaves and everything from the storm. But I was thinking, life is pretty good, man. I mean, it's 70 degrees out here right now. I'm sweating, and I know people on the East Coast are really cold right now. So I have nothing to complain about. But when it rains here, and it rained torrentially.
It was insane. It was like rivers.
It was rivers.
And LA does not have a good drainage system because all the roads basically get clogged, and it's insane. It's like pandemonium.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's just like none of us have ever seen rain before, and we all panic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's really funny.
And I've got a dog, and so I'm walking the dog, and I, tied a garbage bag around him because he gets so wet, and then he's shaking in the house, and it's a nightmare, and he smells bad. And it was just whatever. So there was that. Then I come back into the house, and we're talking like 7 a.m., right? This is because I get up early. This all happens, at 7 a.m. and it's been raining for like 100 years, and, I just want to die. And then the power goes out, and at that point, because I work from home, it's like, ooh,
yeah,
this is bad. But it'll probably go back on in like half an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that day. It came on about 7 hours later, but after I had missed a podcast that I was supposed to do, and to add insult to injury, at one point, I'm kind of, it was daytime at least when the power went out, right? I mean, it was 8 a.m.
cold,
or whatever.
And you could have probably been better off with your heater on. I remember it being cold.
Well, my heater was on, and that was like, when the power went out, it was like,
oh.
we were like, well, that didn't sound good. And then I realized like my microwave like didn't show the time anymore, and I was like, no, I think the power was out. So whatever. But at one point, so at least it's light outside. So I'm like, well, at least I don't have to like light candles the way we used to when I was, a little kid at home, living out in the sticks. And I'm looking out my window, and I'm like, that looks like smoke. It doesn't really just look like torrential rain. It looks sort of different. I should go investigate. I don't know. Something seems a little weird about that. And it turns out that one of our beloved local markets, House of Spirits, was on fire. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know what kind of irony that is, that it was happening in, the largest rainstorm that LA has seen in
strange.
Like a year plus. But it was weird. There were
77 firemen apparently.
Yeah, there were. I mean, my car, even if I had wanted to sort of get out and like go somewhere else that had power, my car was blocked. The roads were closed off because of all the fire engines. And I really like this store. I really like the employees that work there. I've kind of gotten to know them, having lived in the neighborhood for a little while. And the whole thing was like, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to go down some sort of like a sad rabbit hole. But wow, it was a weird
It was
week.
quite a day. It was funny because you're the one that told me that House of Spirits was on fire, but I had just left the house about, I don't know, like maybe 20 minutes before that happened, and I couldn't close my gate, which is kind of a big deal because my gate to my garage is like, I'm really exposed when it's open. It's a security. In fact, someone stole one of my Amazon packages.
Which is insane.
Yeah, because they took a photo and it was like on my account that they dropped it off. And then when I got home, it was gone because the gate was open, because the electricity was out. Anyway, it was a crazy day because I had to drive pretty far west. I had about an hour drive to go to a session. And oh man, the roads, you should have seen it. Anyway, while I was going west, there were about 18 fire engines going toward you, and
right,
and so
which
it
is
all
funny
made sense.
Because when you said that to me, I was like, well, I don't know where there would be so many fire engines just because our power is out.
That's what I was thinking.
But like, okay, but it was because of the fire, and it was pretty major fire. And as far as I know, no one was hurt. So that's number one. Number two, it appears that no adjacent buildings were, also set on fire. This thing was big.
And I saw some of your pictures. There were 77 very handsome firemen.
Oh God,
trying to fight this.
I don't know what it is with you guys and men in uniform. I don't get it. I'll never get it. But bless the people who put out our fires.
Well,
I just don't think you're sexy.
Thankfully, the neighborhood has really calmed down, except for something I really have to investigate. I came home last night. In fact, I will go into my weekly anecdote. One thing I wanted to mention, I had a really cool night last night. I went to the ArcLight Dome Theater, which is in Hollywood. It's a pretty famous movie theater, to see the new Natalie Portman movie, which is called Vox Lux. And it's a very bizarre movie. It's interesting. It's very visual. She does a great job. It's worth seeing. It's weird, and I have a lot of things to say about it, but I won't get too into it. But I did get to see a Q&A with her and the director. That was pretty cool. I get home around midnight, and guess who's blaring music? my neighbor who loves to play the REM song Everybody Hurts over and over. It is the craziest thing. He does it all the time. I'm not talking about like occasionally. He does it like every few nights, if not every night. I couldn't believe I came home to that. And it's loud.
It's really weird.
It's so weird. I have to find this guy because I'm fascinated. I'm like, I want to meet him.
You need to know why. Because I feel like, I mean, it's possible that this is just sort of his therapeutic song and maybe he's not having a great day. Maybe he is having a great day, but you're probably not playing Everybody Hurts if you are having a great day.
And the on repeat is weird.
But maybe he's doing some sort of an art project. Mm-hmm, because that makes more sense to me than playing that particular song.
Some music. Maybe he's listening right now. He could be like, because he could be one of my neighbors. I mean, he is. I just don't know how far down the street he is.
If it were me, I would be like, hello, why are you playing this?
I want to know. No, I'm going to find out. I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and I will talk about it on the show. But one thing I wanted to mention really quick, it's funny. I always thought, like, I guess maybe when we were kids, you got excited about Christmas and I always would get excited about December because it was my birthday and it was a lot of celebration, a lot of Christmas parties.
Your birthday, December 10th.
Which is coming right up. In fact, we're going out tonight shortly to celebrate. I try to celebrate a week in advance and, make my birthday last a full week. Mm-hmm. I mean, why not? But as I've gotten older, I've started to dread it more, which is sort of sad because, the holidays, I think, aren't they supposed to be festive and fun, and you dress up and you drink champagne and you hang out with friends and you party and you have a good time? Well, so far it's been a pretty stressful month in terms of like trying to coordinate the holidays with my family and, just trying to kind of organize like who I'm going to see, who I'm not going to see, who's upset that I'm not seeing them and all of that. God, I can't believe how it's come to this. And I think that now that things are sort of organized, I think that it will be a fun month. I have felt like a little bit of that pressure has come off and I'm like, okay, we're going to have fun tonight. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a good couple weeks. We've got some Christmas parties. I'm kind of starting to look forward to, my travels. But I think it's a better time for kids, it just really is.
Oh yeah. I mean, as a kid, Christmas was, my birthday's in October, so the birthday always sort of kicked off the holidays because it's like birthday and then you got Thanksgiving and then you got Christmas, yay! And then, after that it's like nothing forever. But I loved it. I
know, so fun.
I remember, I'd wake up. There was a rule in my house on Christmas morning is like I couldn't wake my parents up until a certain time just to just give them a little piece. Mm-hmm. But that time was like 6 a.m. right? Yeah. But I'd be up at 3.
Oh yeah,
because
so
I'd
exciting.
see all the presents and it was so exciting and then it became a rule that they were like, okay, just you can open your stocking alone, but still don't wake us up until like a certain time, so I'd like open up, like my stock. It was always like socks and, some soap and like weird stuff, but like it was so exciting because it's wrapped and you're a kid.
Totally.
But I'm with you. I actually, I'm not a Scrooge. I enjoy the holidays. I think there's something kind of magical about the silly songs and the twinkling lights and and the joy that you see that children have to this day. But at the same time, I mostly avoid it because I live alone. Like, who am I getting a tree for?
Yeah.
So my cats can like rip the ornaments off the tree, and then I gotta like get rid of the tree later. It's like, nah.
No, I hear you. It's kind of a pain. I mean, I usually get a small tree, but I'm not going to this year. I don't even have room for it. But yeah, I feel like there's going to be some good times this month. I'm excited. So I'm a little peppy today.
Well, I'm glad, Heather.
Yeah.
That's good. And we will have a good time tonight, and we'll tell you all about it next week.
We might have some
if
video.
we live to tell the tale.
There might be some video that pops up on Patreon, only for $5 and above. But
so I wanted to exactly.
$2.50 and above, actually.
We love all of our patrons. However, $5 and above is kind of the sweet spot of like the cool, BTS content behind the scenes for anybody who's
cool
like,
kids.
what's BTS? So little tech roundup, just because, I think about technology in the rest of my life. Yeah, I know. Crazy. And these are a couple of stories that I talked about on DTNS, which is another podcast that I host and produce each week. And I thought a couple of these would resonate with some of you. One of them is because we talk about being, kind of international spirits at heart, having traveled a lot, and continuing to, and enjoying the differences. Google Translate, which is obviously Google's Translate.
I use it all the time.
Yeah. Translate app started as a desktop app back in the day, is now on iOS and Android, and is more robust than ever. However, the company has decided, for reasons that are a little bit more convoluted than just being helpful, is that... Okay, so let's say for, a Romance language, French being one of them, I want to say, I'm ready. Well, I'm ready as a woman is different than I'm ready as a man, because that's just, there's a masculine and feminine way to, and if you know enough about that with Google Translate, you could be like, you can kind of sort of like figure it out after the fact. But if you're actually trying to talk in a language that you don't know, and you're not familiar with the way that feminine and masculine translations happen, Google Translate in the past has sometimes led you astray. And I know this because...
Oh, it definitely has.
Yeah, because...
For me too.
Yeah, one of a friend of mine who speaks French and doesn't speak any English, and whatever, that's a long story. But he would sometimes, make fun of me because he'd be like, I know what you're saying, but like, you said that to me like you were a man just now, or that I was a woman, or, I just got it wrong. So Google Translate is trying to make better sense of that. So that's good.
That's actually great because that applies to me, because I sometimes have to look up certain expressions or words during my tutoring, because some of this stuff is just like you don't use it that much, and you kind of think you know what it means, but you want to just double check.
Right.
Sometimes, and I notice also with my student who's, French 3, she's pretty good, but it's really tough because you're trying so hard to translate from English, but it doesn't totally work.
Right.
Like you can't just go word by word, like how do you structure the sentence from English? And the meanings are different. You have to be very careful, because I did come across a few things this week where I was like, that's not what it means.
Right.
That's not right.
Or it's just not the way that someone would say that.
No, definitely not.
And that is, we're just getting closer and closer to this idea of machine learning.
Yeah.
Being able to translate things for us in real time, which is amazing. Didn't used to exist. What a tool. But being even more thoughtful as a machine would be, between the nuances that do happen in, this isn't French, Italian, Spanish, Turkish is another language where, it's very different depending on if you're talking to a man or a woman, or if there's some sort of a, all of you. Yeah. All of the gender, like, where do you go with that? It depends on the language. So Google Translate getting smarter than ever.
I'm so into that, because there's a couple weird irregular things in French where you can say, like, if you put a word after a noun, it has one meaning, and you put the same word in front of the noun, totally different.
Sure.
Like, you're basically either saying this person's old, or like it's a completely different meaning. So it's very complicated. This is going to help me a lot, in fact, because I use this weekly, and I'm constantly, I'm just trying to keep my languages up.
Sure.
And you really have to work at it, and
this is
it
something
helps
that,
me.
This is your job.
It is.
So
now,
it actually becomes like, this is a very, very important tool for you anytime that you're falling back on something like Google Translate. And of course, there are other translate options. But Google, in general, is going through a whole sort of male female pronoun gender bias thing.
Yeah.
That this is all a bigger story. We can get to it another time. But as far as Google Translate goes, I welcome the update. Real quick, also I wanted to mention, just because Heather and I do a fair amount of air travel. I spend a lot of time in airports, and I'm the kind of person who, I mean, I constantly run late. I miss flights all the time. I miss flights some of the time, but I barely make flights all the time. However,
That sounds like you.
yeah, totally. However, if I've got a couple hours to kill, and maybe I'm coming back home, right? I am fine hanging out in an airport, because you meet a stranger, you watch a game on TV. I don't know, you maybe get a salad, or you do whatever. You just kind of hang. You just kind of hang out for a while.
Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the things that I've always been very fascinated with is the people that work in airports, the bar, the coffee bean, the magazine shop.
Totally.
Because you see so many people churn through, which you would in any given sort of bustling store of some kind, but an airport is different. Because everyone's from somewhere else, and a lot of times there are a lot of emotions involved. You see people crying in airports a lot because they're leaving someone that
definitely.
they love, or they're
It's
a
a good
business
people
traveler, and so
watching
they've got like some weird
location.
job where you're like, tell me more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
I
that's
love
just
meeting
me.
people on a plane. Like when I sit next to them, it's like they're all so different. And I always, I'm like, this is fascinating. Like I would have never met this person on the street.
Yeah, an airport is a segment of humanity that you just don't get anywhere else.
So true.
And I don't care what city you're in, it's the airport. It's like, wow, that's really like, who's going to be at this airport at any given time?
And you're right.
Love
Like
it.
emotions are running high. People are a little stressed, but then it is a good people watching. And no, I agree. I think it's fascinating. So what, is there some technology involved here?
There is. So Amazon, which has,
Of course.
yeah, exactly. Always comes back to Amazon. Damn you. Amazon has its Go stores, and the idea behind the Go store is the first Amazon Go store opened in Seattle, and they've since, I think, opened 7 since then. The idea is cashierless and frictionless buying. So you go in, you figure out something with your phone beforehand. You connect it to your Amazon account. You take something off the shelf and you walk out, and you are charged for that thing because it has tracked you to know that, like, Sarah got that toilet paper off the shelf, some cat food over here, and maybe some luncheon meat, and she walked out, and now she's being charged, and that's the deal. And there's a little bit more to it than that. It doesn't mean that there aren't employees that work at these stores, but the whole idea is that you don't want to end up waiting in the express lane for like 15 minutes the way you do at a grocery store,
It
right?
would be so nice.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because, of course, Amazon bought Whole Foods. Whole Foods is not doing this, at least at this time. But anyway, that's another conversation. Going back to airports, turns out that Amazon is considering adding Go stores to certain airports. LAX and San Jose International being the two that
Why
at
not
least
SFO?
I don't know. I mean, who knows? At least that sources have told. I think Reuters originally, might be wrong. It might be The Verge. That this might be happening now. Okay, so I have like weird feelings about this because it's like, oh well, if I'm in a hurry, which I always am at the airport, right? Like, let's say you got an 8 a.m. flight. You haven't had coffee at home. You really want the coffee before you get on the plane, just so you can like work on the plane. But there's like a line of 15 people.
Oh no, more like 30. Those lines are insane.
Right. And so it's sort of like this, like, oh God, am I going to miss my flight? I need that coffee.
It's the worst.
Imagine just, sort of like filling up something and just leaving, and you get charged, which is fine. You're not trying to get away with anything. This would be perfect. However, I would miss that person that I interact with where I wonder how it is to work at the airport.
You and your people that you interact with.
I know.
No, I think that's really funny. It's like I've been tempted to like steal like coffee from the no, but not because I don't want to pay for it, but it's like I don't have time to wait in an hour line to get a cup of coffee. And I'm like, I'm desperate. I need a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That really actually drives me crazy. It's like very old school. There's got to be a better way where maybe it's someone with like
Amazon agrees with you, Heather.
or like there's someone, even if it's like a little, you know, a cooler with a guy that's just like, hey, you know, like maybe one of those espresso in a can. I'll take that. You know, and then you just hand them $2 or, well, not $2, but $5, whatever. What coffee is $2? But
wouldn't that be nice?
But you know what I mean? It's like what if I don't want a frothy latte? You know, I just want a shot of espresso, or I want like
I only want just a coffee.
They got to figure that out.
Fill up my coffee. Anyway, so Amazon.
Go Amazon.
Amazon may be changing the landscape of buying food and beverage and perhaps other magazine type items.
You're killing it, Amazon.
Perhaps some cashews at airports near you soon. Again, this is all kind of some news of what may be to come. But you know, we have our finger on the pulse of these things.
Oh, we
guys.
sure do.
So wanted to let you know what's going on in the world of tech that might affect all of us normal folks.
Thank you for informing us on this stuff, Sarah. I
You're
find
welcome,
this stuff
Heather.
fascinating because it's all like it's this movement, you know, it's this like, it's making our lives easier, all this technology. And I find it fascinating. So thank you for bringing it to the table. I know that you can relate to this. So you know that feeling when you see something that is so damn cute, like the cutest thing you've ever seen, like let's say your dog Otis or one of my kitties, and
or
you're
one
just
of my
like,
kitties,
or one of your kids too, and you look at them and you're just like, you just want to like eat them, like they're so cute. You want to squeeze them and you want to crush them and you want to bite them because they're even like a little baby, a little newborn, and it's like this. Like
I don't
almost,
feel that way about human babies, but I know some people do.
You know what I mean, though, like or animals
when
just,
they say baby toes, I just want to eat them.
You know, there's now like a term for it, and it's called like aggressive cuteness, which is so funny. And there's this
for something so cute you want to hurt it.
You do, and like they're kind of trying to study it. Like, why does the mind what is that? Like, is it this need to, that aggression is this need to take care of it? Like, it's just a way of expressing like, I want to keep this alive and take care of it, kind of thing. But anyway, I thought it was kind of funny, and it made me think of, you know, at the end of the year, usually there's a bunch of, you know, words that get put into like the Merriam-Webster, into the dictionary.
Sure.
And I always love that because I love slang. I always have. I love French slang. I took a lot of like classes and have a lot of books on French slang because I just love it. I love the way those words roll off the tongue because they're fun. They have a little bit more of a fun like vibe to them. And so I thought you would enjoy this because I know how much you like words too.
Correct.
And so the new kind of, they're like internet speak style, but I picked out my favorites and I'm just going to list them off.
Okay.
These all are official entries into the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Guac, which is short for guacamole.
Got it. Yep.
Rando, which means a random, or like a random person. When you're like, look at that rando.
It means random. Yeah. Blank.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Rando. Yeah.
Adorbs, which is short for adorable, like extremely charming and appealing. Favorite, which is FAVE. I usually drop the E.
I prefer FAV.
Me too. I do.
It's a Twitter thing, but you know, but same.
Yeah. Marg.
Margarita.
Yeah. Good. And this one, I guess the first known usage of this was in 1990, which I think is interesting. Bingeable.
Meaning something that you will get so into that you just can't stop until it's over.
Yeah, you just watch every single episode. Yeah.
Bingeable show. We all know what that means at this point. Sure.
Bougie, which I like
me.
this. I use this. I like this word a lot. I just think it's funny, but it's short for bourgeois. You know, people who are concerned with, you know, I guess wealth and respectability and the high life.
You know, the bougie thing, it's funny because I know people who use bougie as a derogatory term.
Oh, totally.
And I always kind of laugh where I'm like, I am bougie. I don't care. It's like saying like, I don't know. Maybe I don't unpack this too much for fear of offending someone, but bougie many times means like you think you're better than me.
Kind of. It does have a negative connotation.
And I don't think that's, of course, I would never be like, yeah, I'm bougie, I'm better than you.
No.
It's
not
means
like that at all.
I like what I like.
I like good cheese and
Right.
good wine.
And good wine and nice
company.
thread counts.
Good thread count.
And you know what? That's okay. I am bougie. Okay?
You like things, you like a level of quality. Quality of life is huge. I mean,
it's relative.
I would almost rather, I mean, that sort of, the place that I chose to live is quite small, but there's a quality to it. Even though it's a simple, dwelling, it has like a quality of life element because I've got an outdoor space. Everything's built quite well. And I like that. Like, I'd rather have less space, but have something that's built properly.
Totally. I hear that.
And then a couple more, Tent City, which I think is interesting just because, we're having so many problems with homeless people.
Tent City, yeah. What it sounds like.
It's a good one. And then Hangry, which I think we all can relate to.
You're so hungry, you're angry.
Exactly, which is a good one. And I think those were my favorites. I thought you might enjoy that little list, Sarah.
I did very much. What's funny? Because we do dip into dating apps every now and then, and of course I will never call anybody out, but I know somebody who has in his bio that he, just swipe left if you're the kind of person who says hangry.
Oh wow!
Where I was like, really? Like, why does that bother you? And he's like, I just hate it.
Oh, you did ask him?
Yeah, and because I'm like, but do you know what it means? And he's like, yeah, I just hate the idea that you would be so hungry that now you're mad at me. And I'm like, no. You're not mad at someone in particular. You're mad at the world.
Yeah.
Like, get it right,
like
man.
You have like low blood sugar.
Yeah. Like you're
what did he say to that?
He just was like, well, I just don't. He finds the term very annoying.
I'm sure
he doesn't want to date anybody. He uses the word. So I'm like, well,
you're not going to date
best of luck. Best of luck out there. Oh, man. Okay, well, Merriam-Webster, by the way, great Twitter account.
Yeah.
Very flippant and kind of fun and sarcastic. And I don't know who's running that. It's probably a team. But you guys are all pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you give the internet the shit that it deserves. Speaking of internet, if you are not already a patron of our show, please consider becoming one. And if for any reason, hey, it's the holidays, sometimes finances are tight for folks, we totally get it. Perhaps there's someone who would like the show, and you could pass it on to them, and that would be fine too, or even both.
Giving a favor to a friend is equal to monetary.
I mean, as bad
value.
As your life might be, listen to ours, right? I mean, if anything's gonna.
We can't even light our own set here.
If anything's going to make you feel better about yourself, at least you're not as bougie as Heather and I with our thread counts and our goddamn apartments. Patreon.com/havesuchagoodday is how we make our bread and butter. We appreciate all of you so much.
How we eat our bread and butter, too.
And how we butter it. All of it.
The kind of butter, the bougie butter we buy. No, really, we don't buy bougie butter. But
I will say real quick, unsalted butter is the way to go.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh.
Salted butter why is that a thing?
I don't know. Yeah, what is that? That's a good point. Like, what is that? Because
why?
Most of it, maybe for
it's
certain cooking.
So much better without salt.
Add
salt. You got salt.
Add some of the good, do a little grinded salt. That'd be so much better anyway.
Yeah, then you can control the salt better. Don't understand salted butter, but
if you guys have a counter point on this one, then please email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Yes, hi@havesuchagoodday.com is our email address. We read all of your email. We appreciate it. We love your contributions. Keep it coming. And thank you again to everybody who's a patron of ours. And we couldn't do it without you.
We love you.
Thank you.
And we're lonely, so please email us. Say hi. We want to hear from you.
Speak for yourself, Heather.
I know.
I have 3 animals in my home. I am not lonely.
You don't have time for loneliness.
I just want them to shut up. Speaking of animals, this is a good one. Okay, so came across a story in the Washington Post of all places earlier this week about Okay, how do I start this? So there's a certain kind of seal that is lives in Hawaii. And is endangered. The Hawaiian monk seal. They're adorable. I mean, they look like seals, but they're,
I think I'm familiar with them.
Certain kind of particular part of the species. And they are, the Hawaiian Islands are inhabited, but there are a couple of smaller islands that are part of the chain where no one lives, or mostly scientists hang out in and study wildlife and the flora and the fauna and all that good stuff. Well,
sorry, I just looked at the picture.
Yeah. So back to the monk seal. A scientist took a photo recently of a monk seal who appeared to have an eel halfway stuck up his nose, but he was just kind of chilling, like hanging out in the sun, the way that a seal would. And the scientist was like, "Oh gosh, what happened?" Whatever. Turns out that this is a bit of a recent phenomenon, and it's only this certain kind of seal in this certain part of the world. If you're not familiar with the Hawaiian Islands, they are part of
the
United States of America, but they're way west and kind of south in in the Pacific Ocean, and it's very far away from the mainland.
It's very beautiful and tropical.
Very beautiful, very tropical, and there are some indigenous species, the monk seal being one of them, and it turns out that this one seal was not the first seal to have an eel stuck up his nose. Now, what they think, first of all, the scientists were like, we're befuddled. Why is this happening?
I love this.
Now, apparently, the seals, in the variety of cases that have been documented, the seals have not been harmed. The eels died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the eel did not go up the seal's nose and it was harmonious, like we're friends.
It wasn't like a symbiotic relationship.
No, it was, because seals, they eat with their, it's not like they've got arms, right?
No.
So if they want to grab an eel to eat the eel, they're going up with their face.
Yeah.
And, in many cases, sort of, little ocean crevices and whatever, that's, under the sea. And apparently what appears to be happening is they're kind of missing their mark sometimes. And the eel's going up the nose, and then the eel is sort of like, well, there might be food for me up in this mammal. And the eel does not survive because it can't breathe and, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine the seal couldn't breathe either, like their nasal...
Well, the seal's got the other nostril, right?
That's true.
Because they have two nostrils, again. But totally weird.
Super weird.
Super weird. So it's one of these things where, and again, for anybody who would like to check out a photo, please just Google monk seal eel, and you'll see it. The seals seem largely unbothered. You kind of pull the eel out, according to scientists again, and they're like, cool, great, fine. I was breathing anyway on the other side or through my mouth or whatever.
It looks really funny.
But the eels are not faring so well.
I really love like science and biology and animals.
Is there anything weirder?
That's what I love about it. It's just like there's so much random shit out there that is so fascinating and weird. I mean, you're looking for some entertainment, just look outside at nature. I mean, everything is so, even the reproductive things with plants is fascinating. I studied that in college. That's mind blowing. Just even like a little fern reproducing is fascinating. Yeah. So this stuff.
Look at the
really
praying mantis.
Oh, so cool.
I mean, if that thing's still alive, your life ain't so bad.
Yeah, the praying mantis is something else, man.
Perhaps the weirdest thing
so
living today, and adorable. And I really want one as a pet. Maybe someday.
Wow. I'm so glad that they're the size that they are. Could you imagine if they were as big as the stuffed rabbit that you won?
Oh God!
Can you imagine it would be so weird seeing those things walking around? Whole different world.
Very prehistoric.
Very prehistoric.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't bite, which I totally appreciate.
Yeah. Well, depending on what species you are.
It's true. So, a lot of people, there's been a few people who have mentioned the trials and tribulations of, online dating is tough. And there's a lot of articles about stuff. We talked earlier about
We did.
Orbiting and all these, ghosting and all these things and terms that happen that only started to happen when online dating became really prominent. Well,
they only started to become terms.
Exactly.
The idea of ghosting somebody, basically just like never calling them back again, or just
be
not showing up
business-related.
for the date and then they just disappear off the face of the earth. Old as the Old Testament.
Yeah.
But now there's so much more of it because we have all these tools to meet each other in easier ways. But it's still, the human condition is complicated, and so we still have all these problems.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's like I think you were telling me a story about, you meet these strangers, and then you have this whole history with them, but you never meet them, and it's this very strange thing.
True. Yeah. Where you honestly, sometimes you're like, what did I do? Did I do something? And then you're like, wait a second, you're a complete stranger. I don't even know you. Like, why do I care? But it's like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Because we're all so used to not, we don't want to be dissed.
No, definitely
But there's
not.
a lot of dissing happening.
There's a lot of dissing.
But the disser isn't always trying to be mean. Mm-mm. It's just that life gets in the way.
It's the way it is.
It's easy when you don't know somebody to not like send that like, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work by text.
Totally. It's funny. I have a friend who told me this story that there's on one of the dating apps, it doesn't really matter which one it was, but
they're all the same, really.
This guy, kind of came on strong and was, there was some back and forth. They were like, texting back and forth, and he had sent her a invite to a special club that he's an investor in, and he explained it as it was sort of like the Soho House meets, Eyes Wide Shut, kind of has a little bit of a sexy vibe to it. So I thought that you would really be into this. I'm rolling my eyes as I say this. This place is called the Social Elite Club, which is, couldn't they have come up with a little bit of a better, interesting name? But this place
could they have possibly come up with a worse name? That's my question.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because when I hear social elite, I think the worst people in the world.
Yeah.
And if they're also, like, you throw in Eyes Wide Shut, like, have you seen that movie? That's a sex thing.
Yeah. No, it's called, literally on the website, which is like very basic, it's kind of weird. It's like, it has a weird vibe to it. A secret social club with a sexy twist. An exclusive social organization for adventurous singles and couples, featuring a hand-selected, invitation-only and referral-only curated membership. And they have branches all over the world.
Forget all of that. Curious singles and couples, like, it's a sex club.
Totally.
Which is, hey, no judgment at all.
They're trying to be kind of like maybe elusive about it.
But like, how can you call yourself the social elite and look at yourself in the mirror and sleep well at night? I hate it.
This guy was really excited about it. He was basically bragging that he was part of it, like that he was like an investor. But the story gets I go even further with this. This guy is apparently this notorious, he's got a lot of online dating profiles on all the apps, and apparently he was, really aggressive about, I want to take you to a nice dinner. Like, I would love to take you out. Are you cool with that? And my friend was like, sure, well, why not? And he was like, excellent, great. Never hears back from him. And apparently he's just this guy who
notoriously
he does this thing. Yeah. And
he's getting off on like someone like agreeing to, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Like he's like, oh, okay, cool. This cute chick is, she's giving
she likes
me this
me.
approval.
That's all I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a term for this that's, well, it's not exactly what you just said, but there's this term called breadcrumbing. I don't know if you've heard of this.
I use the word breadcrumbing as like a memory thing, but not as a dating thing.
Oh yeah, I do that too. You're right. So this is basically like someone who sends out flirtatious but non-committal messages, like breadcrumbs. So this guy's like, I want to take you out, but then never replies. So in order to lure a partner without expending a lot of effort. I know it's terrible.
I would rather someone be like, you're ugly.
Yeah.
Than do that.
I know. You're like, at least you're telling me some kind of truth. I don't know.
I on it like
It's
if
crazy.
if you're a breadcrumber, stay away.
All you breadcrumbers out there,
Just get away. You're the worst ones.
you need to evaluate yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Social elite. I mean, I don't know why I find that so offensive, but it's like, you just don't say that about yourself.
You know what we're gonna do?
What is a social elite person?
No,
Like,
but you know what we're doing? We're gonna go check it out though, because
oh, we'll do it for.
I want to just
for research
for the
this
show.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And meet some adventurous singles and couples.
Yeah,
My
and we'll
God.
go in there.
We'll wear
and
weird
I was
masks.
just gonna say the same thing. We're like, wait, I thought it was a masquerade thing.
Yeah, it's Eyes Wide Shut, right? Where's Nicole Kidman?
God, speaking of Nicole Kidman, there is a new movie coming out with her called, what is it? It looks crazy. She is just blows my mind.
She's
I mean, no,
I bow to her as an
after we
actress.
finish the show, we're gonna watch this trailer. You will be like, it's called. I think it's called Destroyer. It is so nuts.
I like it already.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that trailer. But before we do that, we have a couple more bits of business here. I wanted to really quickly plug, the fact that we're on iTunes and our website. If you want to check out, we've got our bio up there. We've got our patrons listed out. If you would like to see your name in lights, that is havesuchagoodday.com. And I wanted to mention we have a new iTunes review, and this is from a Nat Bob Benton.
Hi, Nat Bob.
And I think he's written us a few times, actually. He's been with us for a while. So, hey, man, he says, these two ladies talk about what we're all talking and thinking about. Great show. Feels like I'm just hanging out with my friends.
Oh, that's so nice.
And I just wanted to share that.
Well, that's certainly the idea. And yeah, I mean, Heather and I we're so similar, and we know that there are probably things that we discuss that aren't necessarily in your wheelhouse.
This is true.
And hopefully you either learn something, you kind of chuckle at the fact that this is our
We're
life.
being bougie and silly.
And we're being bougie and silly, or overly sensitive or whatever. Like, that's all fine, because that's the human condition.
Oh, absolutely.
And
we're all flawed.
And yeah, that's for sure. and the idea that people are getting sort of comfort along with entertainment out of this is that
warms my heart.
It really does.
Yeah.
Warms my cold black heart.
It really does. Thanks, you guys. I think that after saying all that, I think it's time to roll into our bonus topic in a minute
Let's
here.
wrap it up. Yeah. So again, for anybody who is a $5 or more participating patron per month, again, patreon.com/havesuchagoodday. We have a bonus topic coming up for you. Immediatamente. For everybody else, have a wonderful week.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us. Again, spread the word, tell a friend if you like the show. We'd love to have more of you contributing to the greater good.
We ultimately, one of our goals, and it's maybe further out, is to, God, wouldn't it be fun if we could do like some live shows in different cities? So then we could like
Absolutely.
meet all of you.
Are you kidding me?
That'd be so much fun. I would love that.
Even though I have extreme social anxiety, I'll do it.
I think you'll be okay. We'll
it's okay. Yeah, I'm extroverted.
You
know.
are. You can be. You
Yeah.
and I are similar. I think we both have very strong introverted tendencies, but you can be the life of the party if you want to be.
Yeah.
Same
yeah.
with me.
I just have a shelf life.
Yeah,
You
I know.
At midnight, I turn into a pumpkin, literally.
But
I turn
have you
into
until
a gourd.
midnight tonight. Yeah, I know. I do
Oh,
too.
at least.
I turn into like a warty gourd. Like, I gotta get home.
A delicious summer squash. I mean, I'm a good gourd, but still a gourd.
Yeah, like you throw me in the oven, I'd be like sweet and tasty.
Very, very delicious,
very
but still
delicious.
not good company. Anyway, before we get too weird, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next week. I'm Sarah,
I'm Heather.
and have such a good day.
Bye.